It's a Monday after a tough loss in Foxborough as the Patriots have yet to win one at home on the season, sitting now with a 1-2 record in Mike Vrabel's first year as the head coach here in New England. And as always, gotta hand out some needs improvements, gotta hand out some kudos for some plays. Well done here, AB. So let's just do the needs improvement first. I feel like I need to have some optimism at the end of this. So let's get
I love that.
our
I'm
needs
so okay with that
improvement.
one for right now.
Let's get our need improvement check done with here. Start me up with your number one NI on your report card on this Monday.
All right, my number one NI, and I think it's self-explanatory, but I think just the running back room as a whole. I talked about it a little earlier in the show, but turnovers, as much as they might seem like an individual stat, really it's just a massive alarm and warning to the rest of your team. Hey, do not do this. Like, we cannot afford this to happen. Don't let the wheels fall off. And I think especially within your position group as well. Like, if it happens, shoot, okay, well, maybe have it happen somewhere else on the team. But for turnovers to come from two of your running backs, I think that's a huge concern for me. So I think just, your job is ball security. Your job is to take care of the ball. And I just feel like that's a real issue, and it's something that needs improvement of being able to stop the flow, get your group together, have an extra focus, extra emphasis, two hands on the ball, 4 points of contact, whatever. It's going to be someone who you don't see coming for you, just like that extra level of awareness within your own position group. So I think for me, it would have to be just the running back group's ball security for this week 3 game.
Yeah, 100%. There is no other place to start than right there in the running back room. And look, I mean, to be fair, I think every one of them will be looking themselves in the eye and saying, we gotta take care of this, and we gotta figure it out fast. Because as we said, this was a point of emphasis. There was an agenda item for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers going in. Well, guess what? It's going to be an agenda item for every single team that faces the New England Patriots until they prove that they can demonstrate ball security. Because every single player is going to go, oh, yeah, Cam Hayward, boom. And they're going to go in and they're going to try to do the same exact thing that, this Steelers defense did yesterday. So the Patriots have to address this. We heard, Mike Vrabel talking about the fact that, look, we're just going to have to practice the crap out of it. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah. I mean, that's as honest as an answer you can get. We're just going to practice the crap out of it. I just loved it. I was like, it's so simple, but you're not wrong. And nobody can refute that, right? What else do you want me to say? I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think they're all going to be just carrying a football around every single place that they go all week. Take the ball and don't let it go. Make it an appendage of yours that you cannot be rid of, because that's just where they need to get as a group. So the running back room certainly tops the NI list this week. Where else you going here?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's a moment. It was right before half. It's you're practically in the end zone, and the Patriots throw the ball 3 times, end up getting nothing out of it besides an interception. You go into the half with that kind of momentum, and Drake May talked about, hey, maybe I could have had a different flight on the ball, and he was taking ownership of it, but I think really help out your quarterback. He just got hit. Help him with a run play. Do something that maybe you can you're close to the end zone. So I think for me, that was just a moment. I don't know if I'm gonna put that on the NI on the play caller, because I really do trust Josh McDaniels with his success that he's had with the Patriots and in the league. But that was just surprising to me that the Patriots would have that drive in that series. Incredible to get downfield, and then you go into halftime on an interception. So I think that had to be just a standout moment for me that really left me just a little confused, honestly.
Yeah, I would go with the moment late in the game, the 4th and 1, and you got to just keep moving the ball down the field. And, we heard Drake talk about, I wish I had brought that up in the huddle and really tried to shine the light on exactly where we were. And, ultimately we saw Pop Douglas try to make a move and went the wrong way, and that's it, game over. Steelers take over on downs. But to me, it's like, again, it's situational awareness on the field of where you are and the way you have to approach it, and what you need to get done, right? And Vrabel talked about, we talk about knifing all the time, and like trying to figure out, like, how do you get your way there for that, you know 1 yard that you need to move in the right direction. But again, it's having that awareness of where you are, so that you can knife your way through and live to play another down, and have a chance to come back and win a game that you quite honestly have no business winning.
No business, but they could have, because the Steelers didn't do anything with the 5 turnovers the Patriots gave them. Like, I mean, that's still blowing my mind, but that was my third NI, and I'm just going to elaborate on what you said. The huge controversy in the NFL right now are these tush pushes, all right? People are getting, these 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s, like, no problem. Like, look at what the Eagles are doing, and, is it illegal? Is it not? They're making it happen. And so I think I was just jealous in that moment. You see some of these teams that don't blink an eye when they're in situations like that, and here the Patriots are, and they don't even have the opportunity to tie up the game. Like they couldn't even get down the field to get that first down, and you saw their success on 4th downs earlier in the game, and to not be able to convert this one, it was just disappointing. So yeah, I think for me, it's like, the tush pushers are working for some other teams. Like, maybe we could use that as like a, check the box. We know what's going to happen. No worries, no problems. So that would have to be the third NI for me.
Yeah, and I think it goes to what Mike Vrabel has talked about since the very first day that, he stood there as the head coach of this team, and that is the line, right? I mean, it's having to, winning the game in the trenches. If your line isn't dominant, I mean, you look at that Eagles offensive line, they are so dang good and consistent. And that's a huge part of why, the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, that is why it works. It's a huge part of it. I mean, I know that Jalen Hurts can sit there and bench 800 pounds, and that's like not a contributing factor, because it is, but it's the line. And look, I mean, Vrabel addressed it. They're going to have to continue to work on it. We saw really strong line play, against Miami. I thought yesterday it was mixed again. And this is going to be a work in progress. We all know that this is a very young offensive line. But clearly they're having their like 2-step forward, couple steps backward, just like much of this team is having. I thought overall, just in the red zone yesterday, for my last needs improvement, I don't like, at this point, it's almost like whether it's an interception or a fumble or you get into the red zone, you got to find a way to put points on the board. Period. That's it. Like you got all the way there. You've got to find a way to convert and put points on the board. There's too many teams that can put up too many points in this league. You're not going to find a way to win games, putting up 14, 16, 20 points. It's just too hard. It's too hard in the NFL that has put points at a premium, at this day and age of the game. So in the red zone, they got to find a way to convert. Okay. Let's find some optimism. Please. I need some optimism here, AB.
All right. I got you.
Some flowers for.
Yeah, I'll give some flowers to Hunter Henry, who's the best offensive player for the Patriots yesterday. Broke a few records too while he was at it. I thought, which was awesome, and congrats to him. 8 catches, 90 yards, and he converted on those 4th down and 3rd down plays when you needed him. And he really just has, over the last 3 weeks, further established himself as that go-to reliable person and player for Drake May. And so I really think it would be extremely hard to picture what this team and what this offense would look like without him.
Yeah, 100%. He is certainly on my list too this week. I feel like there's like good bestie vibes between Drake May and Hunter Henry, right? Like it's that like, I got you. Because we see it time and again, right? I mean, it's just there's some comfort, I think, for Drake to go to Henry and know that he's going to be there. He's going to make the catch. He's going to find the space. He's going to get open, whatever the case may be. And for him to go out and have the game that he did, I thought was significant. You got to find things that you can build on, especially after a demoralizing loss like the one that the Patriots basically handed themselves yesterday. And so Hunter Henry is one of those bright spots for me, and one of those places that the Patriots can look to continue to build upon. Who else you got here that is deserving of a shout out?
Yeah, I got the captain, Robert Spillane, and coming off of last week, there's a lot of heat coming toward the linebackers, and just for their missed tackles. And look what he did this week. Like, you pick off Aaron Rodgers in the third quarter, he had 15 tackles, and he just came out to play, and that's what you needed from this defense. It's what he needed, and I thought, when someone needed to show up, he did. And there were a lot of ways that this defense carried the Patriots throughout this game. Imagine what it would have been like if they also didn't have an incredible, like if they didn't have the game that they did, and it put the pressure on Rodgers that they did and get the turnovers that they did. But yeah, I think I got to give Spillane flowers for showing up when they needed him most.
Yeah, I would totally agree. He was actually the top one on my list, because I think there was a huge emphasis on tackling, right? We talked about it last week, how coming out of Miami, this team had to wrap up the tackles. And we really saw him struggle with that a week ago, down there in South Florida. And for him to go out there and really wrap it up, and like you said, have the 15 tackles that he did, to have the interception that he did, I thought that, the light shone upon him, and he stood up and was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to find a way to make a meaningful impact out there on game day against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's exactly what he did. All right. Give me one more bright spot that you were honing in on yesterday.
Yeah, well, I might throw you a curveball, and it's not a Patriots guy. It was a Patriots guy. Jabril Peppers. You come to town, you force a fumble, and you get a
Yeah.
fumble recovery of your own. Your first snaps, your first game, really getting snaps in as a Steeler. And, he said before the game that this game meant more. It was highly emotional for him. He had to find a way to keep it in check. And, I thought it was funny. I saw someone after the game say, oh, wouldn't it be cool? They drew a Patriots jersey on Jabril Peppers, the Steelers. Wouldn't it be cool if the Patriots had him? Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, this is a great player, kind of making a joke out of it. But I just thought that was funny. He was one of the last guys on the bus. He just wanted to stay in the locker room and really bask it in. So I think I'll give Peppers some flowers. It's hard to come into stadium from a team that cut you and, high emotions, and be able to come up with two big time plays that he did. I think it's worth giving him a little bit of a shout out there.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I thought, he talked the talk, and he came in and he walked the walk. And he said, like, when he was no longer a member of the Patriots, he was like, I can still play this game, and I can still go out, and I can still have a meaningful impact on a team. And he showed that yesterday. He backed up exactly what he said when he found out that his home was no longer here in New England, and kudos to him for doing it against New England. I would give some flowers really just to the Patriots defense in this one. Look, we know that the Steelers have not exactly been flying down the field of late, but they still put up 34 points to beat the Jets in week one. So I will give the Patriots credit that, when you looked at the box score of this game, like, they held Rodgers to 139 yards, and they only gave up 64 on the ground. So they had their team in this to win this yesterday. So I think from a defensive perspective, you got to give some credit where credit is due. Speaking of the Jets, like, did you see Aaron Glenn like dancing down the sideline yesterday? His moves?
Jade, I laughed so hard at that. I immediately wanted to text you and our producer Brendan the video, and I was like, oh, we can't show game footage. Like, I was so mad. I thought about every single way that I could find that clip and get it in this show. I mean, you can't even make that. It looked like it was AI. Like, it literally looked like it was AI the way he was moving. It was hilarious. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to be rooting for the Jets just so I can see more of that.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And it was like, I looked at my son, and I was like, two AFC East games with like great moments captured on the sideline, like with Mike Vrabel's like sprint last week down in Miami, and then Aaron Glenn with his I don't even know like what that move was, but it was so good. It was so good. And look, I know, not very long later, he was like, oh gosh, like here we go, Baker. but still, for that moment, it was worth it.